Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Rick and Morty, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And Michelle Anderer.
Hey.
Today, Delaney and Michelle and I are very excited to get into the Ricklantis Mixup, the episode 7 of season 3 of Rick and Morty. We cover Rick and Morty every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com or search for Overly Animated Rick and Morty podcasts on iTunes and subscribe to our Rick and Morty only feed or our normal feed. I want to get this out of the way because I'm going to get right into spoilers. Make sure you've seen this episode. It's really good to go and clean here. So spoilers, stop now. Okay. AKA Tales from the Citadel, which was incredibly marketed by Adult Swim.
Was it? I had no idea. I went to this completely cold.
Yeah, let me tell you. So this is the story of this. So if you, I'd like to say I called this a few podcasts ago. I was like, Adult Swim had on their schedule Tales from the Citadel in this spot, but then they changed it. I feel like they might be trolling, but I don't trust anything with them anymore. So now here we go into this, and they've changed the episode title to Ricklantis Mixup, and in marketing they gave no reference to that this was the real plot of the episode. The promo from last week was only the stupid Atlanta stuff, right?
Yeah,
and they were even in tweeting, they were like, "We're going to Atlantis."
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we were not hyped for the concept of Atlantis.
Yeah, so shout out to we were hyped for Atlantis, but
I don't know.
Shout out to that mermaid puss. Come on, shout out to
the mermaid puss is the official hashtag of this episode.
Right, yeah, somehow. Yeah, great job, Adult Swim. I don't think any other network has that kind of restraint to just thoroughly play into this trick so much. So I was like shook when they when this episode I was watching live and they changed it to Tales of the Citadel. It was incredible.
I don't know. We were all watching live and we were all like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. This was quite the experience to watch live. I'm glad I could not sleep and stayed over this. Okay, so let's get into. I think the title is still officially the Ricklantis Mixup, though. So
yeah, I think it is.
Even though Tales, yes, whichever one though. Anyway, I'm very excited. I'm already studying here. So let's get right into things here. Delaney, what are your thoughts on the Ricklantis Mixup?
Oh my god, this episode's incredible. Like, this might be, to me, like, I'm talking like number one, like, best episode in the whole series. Like, this episode's incredible. I loved it. Like, oh my god. Like, it was so funny and ridiculous. And, like, we got Tales of Boss Sing Say. It happened. Like, it's real. I told you it was going to happen, and no one believed me, and I was right. And this is so great. Oh my god. There's just, everything is so great. We see so many different Ricks and Mortys. Holy crap, Evil Morty. Wait, I can say shit. Holy shit, Evil Morty.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, no, we were all like, is it Evil Morty? Is it Evil Morty? Is it Evil Morty? And we were all like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually brought it back. Like, this episode's just incredible from start to finish. It's just so good. And then, like, I just really enjoy how they capped it with, like, Rick and Morty and, like, just being ridiculous and being like, oh, no, I don't think anything that happens at the Citadel will, like, ever have bearing on us ever. Like, oh, it's so good. Like, we're gonna talk about all the details, but, like, oh my god. Evil Morty, this episode's funny, the creepy Morty, like, there's just so much gold in this episode. Narratively, this episode's, like, flawless.
The creepy Morty's in your initial thoughts. Interesting. Okay. that's a first level take from Delaney. Okay. Delaney references her being right about a lot of things none of us remember. None of us remember her claiming it, but
listeners remember.
Delaney remembers. That's the important.
That's what matters.
Yeah. And shout out to us again. I will say I was on top of this Evil Morty thing. I've been saying in several podcasts that the only hanging plot thread was Evil Morty after the first episode of the season. So we've primed you guys, and it paid off so well. Okay, Michelle, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Oh man, it's a really good episode, you guys. I mean, like, this is one of those episodes of, like, once in a blue moon. It's just, like, consistently, like, so engaging. Like, nothing dragged. Everything made sense. We jumped all around a lot to different Ricks and Mortys, but, like, everything was, like, really tight and consistently interesting. And, like, there were, like, legitimate emotional beats, and, like, the ending was so satisfying and just, like, exciting. And it was just so good. I'm just, like, so happy this was pulled off so well. Because, like, it's an awesome concept, but the execution's also, like you said, it's flawless. So I'm very high on this episode.
Yeah. Make that 3 on this. First of all, just the experience of watching this was probably my favorite TV watching experience this year. Just from it's a trick and it's the Tales of the Citadel
They
concept.
punked us.
Yeah.
And they were like, here is your reward.
Yeah, and then it was incredible the way through. And then and then just paying off with Evil Morty was incredible. Once it's For the Damaged Coda by Blonde Redhead starts coming in, which is the same song from this episode in season 1. Evil Morty's theme song. Yeah, it's so good. So I've given the speech a handful of times on the podcast, but it's time again for every once in a while there's an episode of TV which is just so consistently incredible and achieves such heights that it makes the experience of watching everything so worth it. This show, this season has been pretty good and at times very good, but this is a truly special episode. For me, this is a contender for best episode of the year. We also got a contender from BoJack this season, but there's a few in a Starverse episode. But it's going to be an interesting. We have our animation awards at the end of the year. I'm already placing this in the best episode category. So it's gonna be. I don't decide that, but yeah, it's gonna be close. But yeah, this is a very, very special episode. It's really funny. One of the funniest episodes of the season, if not the funniest. The most enthralling. The most satirical with this show. It has the best gag I think of the season. It has with Simple Rick, which I'm in love with.
It's so good.
Simple
Ricks. Yeah, it's that's it's like the standout gag of the season, and it's not even one of the top moments of the episode. We go and you bring back an Evil Morty, which is so incredibly well handled. It's just bringing this whole Ricks and Morty's concept introduced in season 1 to pretty ridiculous levels. Does it make sense? Does anything in this episode make sense? Who knows? It doesn't matter. But who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Regardless, yeah, I think this is a really special episode of the show. Definitely, I'd been asking during our podcast last week. It was the season's been good, I said, but there's no standout episode. So I think we finally got our top tier standout episode of the show. Definitely a top 5 Rick and Morty episode. I'm open to this being number 1, and I love Total Recall so much. That's really high praise. So for me, I think the standout moment is when it's revealed that it's Evil Morty.
Did you guys think it might be him before it was revealed?
I got there.
I had inklings.
How far back?
When he was looking at some kind of incriminating evidence, the one Morty who was in charge of the campaign, I'm like, what could be so interesting about this Morty that he would freak out so much? I'm like, well, nice. There's the eye patch guy. It's the Evil Morty. That could be it.
Yeah, I only got there about 30 seconds before. I really okay. Try not to think ahead, but the music cues you in for it. What about you, Delaney?
Well, no, so I was watching it with my friends, and it was I think a little bit before the file, and we were like, it's Evil Morty, and because we've been waiting, because me and my friends talk about it, we're like, where's Evil Morty? When's it gonna happen? And so we were all like, oh,
yeah.
So we were convinced at right before that happened, and we were like, it's Evil Morty.
That's a good point, because the last time we saw Evil Morty was at the Citadel blending in, so he would still hypothetically be there. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. If you don't see him, why is he hiding?
Yeah, they didn't.
Then you find out.
Yeah, they didn't. It's not like they really tried to hide this. It was, which I think is a good decision because it just builds up so well.
Yeah.
Side note: I actually think it's a downside of watching TV with people. Is they try to give things away for you. Yeah, I don't. I like total silence. Don't give things away. Come on. Okay. Anyway, so let's get. So yeah, that's Delaney. What was that the standout moment for you? The Evil Morty build up, or if not, what's your standout moment?
I mean, well, I guess one of really the really good I think shocking moments of the episode was the second Simple Rick but gag.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy. But I do think obviously the end of the episode was just incredible, and just when he's in I think the part that I really loved was after he had killed everybody and he was had his glass and he was like, this is the time for a speech. Oh my god, we're gonna get into some shit.
Yeah.
So that's probably the big moment for me. I don't know. There's a lot of really good moments in the episode.
Yeah.
But probably that is
Yeah.
like the end of the episode is like when he's giving his not speech.
Yeah. Michelle, what about you?
It's hard to think of like a particular moment because like you said, like there are just so many really standout parts of this. But I think between like the relationship between like the cop Morty and the Rick cop, like that was surprisingly interesting, and like I had a lot of feelings about it, especially like the cop Morty, just like and how he existed in this like world that's like overrun by like Morty crime, and just like so many layers to that. And also honestly like the part when like the weird like Willy Wonka-esque Rick character shoots the other Rick in the back of the head, and then they use him for the new cookie stuff. It's like, oh shit, that's awful, but like it makes so much sense. So yeah, both of those I'd say.
Yeah, that's what Delaney said as well. The second simple Rick payoff. I also think the first time they do that gag is also incredible. Yeah, both of the simple Ricks, the ending, and I also just think when we transition into Tales from the Citadel, that was really impactful for me.
I was like, oh, okay, this is what actually is happening.
That really
and another big moment, I think what first really got me was Evil Morty's like speech, like at the debate,
his campaign debates.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, good.
And then when he walks by and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know, like, can't believe you did it." And he's like, "And that's why you're fired."
Yeah, he didn't believe in him enough.
Yeah, it was a good speech from Evil Morty. The question with these things is always like, does it lose the impact of the progressive things the person's saying when they turn out to be evil, right? Like, I feel like we've had this discussion with other shows, but yeah, I don't care. Like, Evil Morty's worth the payoff, whatever.
I don't care either. Yeah. It was still a good speech.
Yeah. Okay, so this episode is framed around 4 like intersecting Rick and Morty's plot lines. So the first one is the Morty politician. Who, turns out to be Evil Morty. That's kind of our main one that all of the other ones intersect through. We have the Rick and Morty cop. I've seen it called a Training Day take. Just a lot of these types of cops movies as well. So we do a lot with that. We have the 4 teen Mortys Stand By Me parody.
Yeah. I love them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then last we have the factory worker Rick, who takes the guy hostage. Also the politician one is I've seen it called a Bob Roberts take. I also think it's pretty similar to stuff House of Cards does. All of these there's probably more movie comps for all of them. They're all pretty tropey plot lines on purpose, right? Giving their Rick and Morty versions of what's going on here. I will say, I think the episode is best in the beginning and end, and when we're in like the trenches of these intersecting 4 plot lines, I think it's still good, but like not at like the incredible heights. Like it does get a little bit in the weeds, I think, with these 4.
I think one would argue you need the weeds to fully appreciate the really standout moments, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think they use them incredibly well to build up to everything that's happening. So,
I think the like lowest part is like they kind of like lost me at the end of the cop one.
It was really fast.
Yeah, what?
It was really fast,
that was a little
like it was good. Like I really liked that. I was really into that one, and then like the end though just kind of got weird. I mean, I understand like kind of what happened. It was just like it just like went really fast, and I didn't like the end of it. Kind of like it didn't ruin it, but like for me, it didn't make it as like good as like the others.
I like totally agree with that, and I like am a little so like I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Like that the Rick ended up shooting the Morty.
Yeah, I mean it's a take on this type of movie. Like it's a racial parallel. Yeah, right. They're doing a Mortys are minorities and Ricks are white people type thing. So I don't know. It seemed kind of standard, but at the end he's like, same old story. Rick's killing Mortys, and then it was like the Morty one is the bigoted Morty bigoted against Mortys type thing. I didn't take too much into it, or it's for me it's a pretty level 1 take on this type of story.
No, I would say so. I mean, there were some good lines.
Yeah, and I think it's good that they don't try to transcend with these other ones because it makes the more important stuff shine later. Yeah. So would you say that this was your favorite of the 4, Delaney, the cops one?
No.
Okay, which is your favorite?
I love the kids.
Really? That was my least favorite.
No, I loved them. Like, I just love Slick Morty. Like,
Oh, Slick Morty is pretty great with his little
like
hair.
I have a
curly.
drama implant. That's so good. Like, I just really liked it, and then like I totally knew at the end, I'm like, he's gonna throw himself in. Like I felt it a little bit. I was like,
Yeah.
aw, and like Lizard Morty's cute, and then like it was just good. Like I just liked it a lot. Like I understand that like obviously the evil Morty one's the best, but I don't even feel like I can count it because like obviously that's incredible and like
It's
it was
kind of the main plot, I
awesome.
guess, in a way too.
Yeah.
So
I just
yeah.
like to me it's like evil Morty, and then there was like the others. But
Yeah.
I really liked the kid one. The factory one was like really funny too. Like that gag is like incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
But
try.
I like the kids. Like it got me a little bit.
I will say the kid one has one of my favorite lines when the one kid's like, I thought it was the left hand, Morty, and Lizard
Oh, that
one's
was
like,
good.
you should use your left hand to eat more vegetables. I was like, damn, burn, Lizard Morty. Holy crap.
Yeah, savage. Yeah, I love that. I love that line because it's like a take on them each having just their identifier, and it's like, was that their name or did they just get? No, it was like
it's so
bestowed
good.
upon them. Yeah, I like getting into that. Which is your favorite of the four, Michelle?
I honestly did really like the cop one, but I think the factory one, outside of the main evil Morty plot, mostly like the second half when he actually does like start to take action and like has a ransom. Like I just thought it was like really interesting, and I like kind of cared about him. And then when he ended up being shot, it was just like so perfect.
Yeah, rip J22. Or I guess he's like still alive, kind of. But
Sort of.
yeah. You have to try to separate the before the reveal of the politician one to treat it as one of these four. I think the factory worker one's the best. Yeah, the simple Rick gag is too good. It's really incredible. I think it's
Like what a gag.
yeah.
It's up there with that game.
Yes, I
Yeah,
agree. It's instantly a top 5 gag of Rick and Morty with the Roy game. Yeah, I agree. That's always what I think of when I think of standout Rick and Morty gags like that. I think of the Roy game, but Simple Rick's was incredible. I also think just that plot line's engaging throughout. You got Cool Rick, which was
That was good.
Yeah, love Cool Rick, and then Rick D. Sanchez the third was incredible too. So
It was like, oh my god, it's Willy Wonka.
yeah, Willy
and then
Wonka Rick, yeah.
I did like too. It's like you see like a portal to the Blender dimension. Like
Yeah, I agree. I think the cop one was engaging throughout, although it was, they don't give it time to get into anything, which was fine.
well, it's like when they go to the house and they like, and it's like they're at like the headquarters, and then like that was really neat, and then he just blows it up. It's like, oh my
He
god.
just disintegrates it.
Yeah, the ending's really fast. I like when they're in the drug house, yeah, because the makeshift portal gun, yeah, and then it doesn't work. That was like very similar to District 9 too. It's all these movies.
Yeah, it was very similar to District
Yeah.
9.
All these movies are takes on the same stories, but that's specifically seemed District 9 to me. Yeah. I think I understand liking the Stand By Me plot. I think that's the least successful. The garbage dump at the end. It was fine. It was still funny. There's no bad parts of the episode, but that like goes the least places for me, I guess. It's also like on screen for the least amount of time, so it's not really given any.
Yeah.
It's not really given any time to do anything. But I do like the four of them, and we each kind of have a payoff line, including Glasses Morty, who's just there the whole time, and then he says, "I wish incest porn had more mainstream appeal."
Yeah, it's like what?
It's so good. It's like, is he gonna do anything, or is he just saying, "Oh, okay, he has." He's just
Asking for a friend.
yeah, asking for a friend of mine. Yeah. Yeah, I think those are so. I don't know if we want to like delve into everything with the cop one and stuff. We've kind of been hitting on these a little bit. Did you, Delaney? What did you think of the like bigoted against Morty's cop Morty, and then the rookie Rick right out of the police academy?
Well, it was like a really interesting like dynamic considering like they're Rick and Morty's.
Yeah.
So that was really neat, and I did enjoy it. Like I love like cop shit. Like I love shows like that. Like that's so good. Like I was like, I'm here for this. As soon as like I was like, it's a cop car, I was like, oh my god, I'm ready. And it was really good. And like I liked that Morty was just like just talking shit and was like in charge. It's like, yeah, learn and like all this stuff. And like obviously like he's awful, but like it was just really interesting because like like the dynamic we normally see with Rick and Morty, and then like given, and I really like exploring like the underbelly of like the Citadel and
Morty Town.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. I also like Big Morty, who's Bubba. To welcome them.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. Also Cowboy Morty in the spotlight.
Cowboy Morty's like up there with favorites. Like
this little cowpoke's gonna mosey on out of here.
Real.
Yeah,
these guns aren't real.
That was really good.
I really like the part when the cop Morty was interrogating the other two Mortys, and they kept saying, "Oh, geez," even though like the cop Morty starts saying it really menacingly, like, "Oh, geez, blah 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 blah."
No, it was really good.
So good.
Yeah, the all G's exchange. It's really good. A random line from the beginning of that one is the election's got these yellow shirts more riled up than a picture day Jessica.
Oh. That was pretty good.
Really good.
Yeah, and I also like how all the Mortys in the beginning, they all have the same locker with Jessica in them.
I like that.
Yeah.
The teacher Rick looks creepy as shit.
His hair is weird.
Yeah, we had teacher Rick, also slow Rick / tall Morty.
That was really funny.
Did I graduate this time yet? Yeah.
Tall Morty, that was like, oh my god.
I love Tall Morty. So we have Fat Morty, who we talked. I feel like the most notable thing is the vegetables line. He also throws in his panini maker, and
he's panini
which is for like a million sandwiches.
Yeah. We had Lizard Morty, who's Rick turned him into fused him with a lizard. Glasses, who we talked to, and then Slick. Yeah, Slick's pretty great.
Well, I think it's interesting too, like that introduced the concept that like where Mortys go once they lose their Ricks.
Yeah, they go to the school, and then and it's interesting because Evil Morty does enact his change a little bit. He does shut down the school. He like changes the laws and stuff. So it's interesting. It doesn't seem like he's just going to be. This was just like a power grab. It seems like maybe he's enacting some sort of policy change to some end.
Yeah, like he has a plan.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. We'll come back to these 4 plans. We need to talk more about Evil Morty because it happened, and Evil Morty. Yeah, and I love that they don't. It's just very quickly with the files flashing by at the end. But yeah, he throws out all of the people in power. I guess the implication was that the most rich people of the Citadel were really the ones in control, despite the new election or the Council of Ricks before them. That's what they,
yeah, like they're like it's kind of like it's not dissimilar to like what we see in Game of Thrones and like other like media. It's like the merchants. It's like those are the people in charge. It's kind of like Slaver's Bay and stuff in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
and the president's like a puppet figure more than anything, not like an actual.
Yeah, the first president with this, but yeah, it's he kills all of them. He puts a lot of them into space, including the informant guy, who I feel like is one of the loose ends of this episode. Is
the campaign manager?
No, the one who
the guy who told him about it.
Informant Rick, the one who tells him.
Wasn't that the juggler one? Like what the heck? I have so many.
I didn't
questions.
get the impression that he was the juggler. Yeah.
Was he a different one?
I think they're Ricks. Like, is it?
They look all the same, right?
They all look the same.
Yeah, it's
one was in a trench coat.
He's dead at the end, but he tells campaign manager Morty that he gives him the info that this is. I've seen theories that Evil Morty wanted this to happen because him getting shot boosted his popularity and made him win the election.
Right.
That's possible.
Oh.
Although it seems like a risky plan, almost. Yeah, it's not like, I guess he could have just healed himself, even if he was really, I don't know, maybe a bulletproof vest and stuff. It's, they have good technology. But yeah, I don't think it matters that much. He's dead at the end anyway. But there was a one Rick who did know that it was Evil Morty. And even if it was coming from Evil Morty, this information, but the campaign manager still had some idea that this was like a bad Morty. I don't know. Anyway, like what does the picture of Morty with an eye patch mean to campaign manager Morty? Right? Like, do they have some sort of knowledge that there's one bad Morty among them? Anyway, okay. I feel like that's not as interesting as.
It wasn't just pictures though. There was like info written down too. Yeah.
So Morty's in charge. We have an episode. The finale is the Rick Churian Morty date. I think Evil Morty comes into play in the finale.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Maybe like our Morty like runs against him or something.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll do another election, but the description I think does.
They're gonna have to
like
interact
Morty
with
like
him at some
opposes him.
Yeah. So I've a common theory I've been reading is that Evil Morty is our Rick's C-137 original Morty.
But isn't Eye Patch Morty like partly not human? Because like when he takes off his eye patch in season 1, like he has like
I think that was just a
things, like,
It's not clear. I think it was just a cybernetic implant.
No, wait a minute. Like I thought our Rick and Morty go together.
As far as we know, yes.
Yeah.
But as we saw in this episode, Mortys lose their Ricks a lot.
That's true.
The foreshadowing in this episode is when a reporter asks Evil Morty what dimension did you come from and who's your original Rick.
Like, I love all Ricks or something like that.
Yeah,
that's true.
And part 2 of this theory is that Evil Morty killed Rick's wife. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So this would make a lot of sense, I think, with what we've seen from this episode and episode 1. With getting a fake memory of that. But yeah, as far as we know, our Morty is also C-137 from the same place. But it's possible that there's some sort of switcheroo or there's something else going on before. It seems like a slam dunk that Evil Morty is...
Or our Rick still could have done something in another dimension and like fucked this Morty over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be something like that. Like maybe his Rick did something really unforgivable, so now he's just like sworn off Ricks and wants them all dead.
I think the most...
Or like our Rick, like C-137 Rick did something.
I think C-137 could have killed their Rick. I think the most impactful thing is if this would be the original Morty. But
that kind of makes me really sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Well, I think we'll get into this in the finale. But there's also potentially some evidence in the original episode from season 1. There's like a memory of him. Anyway, I've seen some theories. There's I don't think there's anything definitive here, but it's interesting to speculate about, and I'm sure we'll get into it more. I don't know how much there's to get into with Evil Morty specifically. I think that we'll see a lot there's gonna be a lot of like hype for what we're gonna see in the future. I guess we can talk about this politician plotline. We haven't done that much of that yet. What about the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is the Citadel morning news, which is one of my other highlights of the episode.
Yes, that's a really good gag too.
News about Citadel in the morning, pretty self-explanatory, and then it's Rick D716B and I'm Rick D716, must be nice. And then we see Rick D716C later, and it's like that guy, right? Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, I don't know what the preceding letters mean on the names. They're inferior versions of themselves, but that was very funny that they're.
It was. I really enjoyed that. I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and each of their faces are more or less like messed up than the other one, so that kind of like in an order too, which was interesting.
Yeah. We have the politician plotline. Let's talk about the different candidates. They're named on screen. We have retired General Rick, who I assume is the one who starts it with like more lasers, and he's like, you have more time.
Yeah.
Private sector Rick, juggling Rick, who's standout. We have Rick Guilt Rick, who is the Rent is Too Damn High party parody guy. And then we have Reverse Rick Outrage. So those that are names there. Juggling Rick was pretty great. I love it's like three parts to this plan. Oh.
Then he has like a chainsaw, and then I really liked when he's like talking to him that he got fired. He's like, "Want to talk about benefits?" He pulls out like bowling pins.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Just demonstrating everything with juggling is pretty good. Them all farting during the debate about making fun of the Morty.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, we have the recurring joke throughout the whole thing of one of them someone saying something and another one replying, "We're the same age." We see,
Yeah,
that's really
That's
good.
really good.
yeah, makes you question how these timelines are working. We're not going past and future. We're just side by side here.
Right.
Yeah. But it's we've one with the Mortys there, and we have another one with the Ricks later with the Willy Wonka Rick. We have the Morty speech, like you're outnumbered, talking about them. I think we talked about mostly. Oh, we have Morty shaking hands, and one of the Ricks is like, "I cloned myself so you could kiss me as a baby."
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I liked that.
He still had like an old man head and
he had like a unibrow. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end with the campaign manager in jail, I'd hardly call it a blowout. It was almost close enough to trigger a recount. Jesus, what are you, joke security now too? I like that line too.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk let's talk more about Simple Rick's gag, because we need to talk more about Simple Rick, I think.
It's so good.
Yeah, so the Simple Rick gag is with Sam Elliott voiced, but Jeff Davis doing a Sam Elliott impression, which is it's great. He's Sam Elliott voiceover, best commercials, and we see like baby Beth, and we captured that moment of her daughter. The chemical that makes his brain secretes goes into every Simple Rick simple wafer cookie.
So
fucked up.
It's so fucked up
and so good.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like at first I was like, oh my god, are we about to learn something? Or I was like, I thought it was like a TV show, and then it was a commercial, and I was like, this is so good for a fucking cookie.
Yeah.
And it's like when you watch a commercial and you're like, what? And you're like, what the hell is this about? And it's always about cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on at first. We didn't establish the four plot lines. It's like, oh, this could just be a like a clip show of like an interdimensional cable thing about the Citadel. So it's like then no, it's
so
it's
good.
there. Yeah, and then later he had a taste of freedom, and we captured that taste, and we
captured that taste of freedom.
We keep giving it to him so he can give it right back to you in every bite. A new Simple Rick Freedom Wafers selects. Yeah, come home to the unique flavor of shattering the grand illusion.
It's so good. Like like that just sounds like a Cards Against Humanity card. Like so good.
Yeah,
so
shattering
fun.
the grand illusion. That could be a Cards Against Humanity card. Yeah, definitely. I can't overstate how good the Simple Ricks is. Yeah.
Like what an incredible gag.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
I think we hit on most of the things. I mentioned Cool Rick briefly, but he's K83, affectionately known as Cool Rick. Check me out. That's like all that makes him Cool Rick.
It doesn't sound very cool at all, honestly.
He just looks stupid.
Yeah, he just has stupid
glasses.
On,
yeah.
I know, I loved it though. That was good. So that's before, we could get into the Atlanta stuff. Anything else from the Citadel stuff?
All of it was just good.
And
like getting introduced to this, like we hadn't really been introduced to before about like how this. So originally, I thought the Citadel was just like where they meet and they like talk about stuff. But now it's like the Citadel is like, so like is our Rick just lucky enough to have a portal gun? Like I know he's a terrorist, but not all Ricks get portal guns, apparently.
Yeah.
I think if you live in the Citadel, then like you are assigned like within the hierarchy somehow arbitrarily. And then it was really cool to see the rest of the city, because I think in season 1 we really only saw like where decisions got made, which is pretty high up.
Yeah, I think that this differs from our previous vision of the Citadel. Like, it doesn't really make sense with what was presented before, but I don't think it really matters.
It's still good.
Like,
it's just neat.
Yeah,
it's just neat.
Yeah, I would say that the Ricks and the concept presented in this episode, I believe, is that the Ricks and Mortys here are choosing to live in the Citadel rather than our Rick. But it's not super clear and doesn't really make sense.
Because it's like, is our Rick just like the dickiest of them all?
Yeah, so yes, that's a good
a
good transition to the beginning of the episode, because Rick K22 and his Morty come to collect for the Citadel Rick's redevelopment fund. They're like, oh, that was you that that murdered everyone. You want to rein in your Morty every day.
That was pretty good. Every day.
Yeah, and he's like, you're pitching the policeman's ball to a black teenager here.
That was really good. That was a brilliant line.
Yeah, and then you don't have to be a dick. I think you know that's not true. All
Yeah,
great
that was good
lines.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, then in the beginning, it's like they don't even go 5 seconds before there's like adventure to the lost city of Atlantis, and then immediately it's shattered, and yeah,
Damn.
then those other Ricks come in here, yeah, yeah. Morty's like wonder what a day in their lives are like, and yeah, Rick says, well, you can keep wondering that while we go on a fun, fresh, self-contained adventure to Atlantis.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
him calling it self-contained is so good. I love that. Yeah. And then at the end, in the stinger, we have
This is a great
Them
stinger.
come back. You know, it's a really good stinger.
yeah, already a top 5 episode of the show. Also probably a top 5 stinger where
It's such a good
Atlantis
stinger.
baby, got some of that mermaid puss.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's such a good
Yeah,
line.
Morty says, I'm really hoping it wasn't a one-off thing and I can see her again.
Go. Yeah.
So
I love
good.
that. Like, just one line, just
Yeah.
like a parody of all these types of going to a fantasy realm stories. It's great. You're not curious about the Citadel place? Not at all, Morty. That place will never have any bearing at all on our lives ever again.
So good.
Unlike that.
Unlike that mermaid puss.
It's so
That's so
good.
We're
good.
going back for seconds. We're gonna go back every week, man. That was Atlantis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. I mean, if you have access to Atlantis, wouldn't you just go back to Atlantis every week? Like, why even go on these other
I
adventures?
mean, why not?
Yeah, why not? We know it's there now.
Yeah.
Why don't they just leave Jerry at Jerry Daycare forever?
He would have been happy there. Yeah.
I mean, we're asking the existential questions now. We're getting into Jerry Daycare again. We had one Jerry reference at the end of the episode. Yeah. It's like, I don't care if you're a Jerry. Jerry's sitting there. Yeah. So,
That was pretty good.
yeah, it should be noted, Justin Roiland is speaking for 95%
Yeah.
of this episode.
It's amazing.
I think this is an all-time voice performance here. Like,
Well, yeah.
this is incredible.
This is like the equivalent of like Tatiana Maslany doing
Yeah.
Looking Glass. Like,
For real.
Yeah, he was on the like a charity live stream last week, and he was talking about how he's still doing voiceover work for the last few episodes of the season. I'm like, that's really late. Why are you still recording for like 2 weeks from now? And now I understand. This episode must have taken forever to record.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, other than Jeff Davis as Sam Elliott and whoever was voicing Baby Beth, like literally it's just him talking the entire episode. So
like to himself.
yeah, it's really incredible. We also have a voice acting category in our end of the year awards, definitely pushing him this year into that. So, yeah, overall, I would say best episode of the season. Agree?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, for
This is,
sure.
Like, I mean, this is like contender for one of the best in the series. Like,
I
this
agree,
episode's
yeah.
so good.
Yes.
Yeah, also contended for best episode of animation of the year, as mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, so well, okay, let's talk. Next week we have Morty's Mind Blowers, incredible in the preview, and he says, and we'll be doing this instead of interdimensional cable. Says
That
Rick.
was pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm excited.
Thank you for telling us that. Yeah, the Truth Tortoise.
The Truth Tortoise. I love
my
the
God.
Truth Tortoise.
Oh my god.
Like,
It reminds me of whatever the fuck it was in Turn Left, that Doctor Who episode. There was something similar to that. I don't know if it was the same concept, but
oh yeah, it was like that alien thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this to me, like the Truth Tortoise. It's like literally when Rose stared into the TARDIS. Like,
yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Truth Tortoise. Come
Yeah.
on.
Let's talk about Doctor Who for 40 more minutes now. So yeah,
Of course.
Delaney, what are your closing thoughts on this episode?
I love this episode. It's incredible. It also has Delaney's favorite thing always is that it's like fucking Brave New World. So Delaney's sold.
Yeah, how'd it take this long to get a Brave New World reference in?
I know, it almost hurt me. I was like trying to say it earlier, and I was like, "I'll wait." Like we all knew it was coming. Delaney had to say it. I just loved it. It was so good. It was so funny. It's just so well crafted. Like I'm just honestly blown away by this episode, and it's just like more reasons to keep watching Rick and Morty. Like the show just gets better and better, and I am very happy.
Michelle, closing thoughts.
Now I'm only thinking about the mermaid puss, but
I
this
was about to
was
say
the-
she's gonna say.
Yeah. No, this is my track of my. It was like the Terry folds. Now it's the mermaid.
What were you
puss. Like,
specifically
they always
were you
have-
thinking
Know
about?
what Michelle's about.
What?
We all know.
What is
I
there?
want them to go visit the mermaids again. No, this was this is a really good episode.
What?
I'm just gonna keep going. No, it's a really good episode. The pacing was like amazingly good. Like I thought all the plot points like were handled really well. Even the ones I wasn't as into, like for what they were, I thought they were perfectly good. And the ones that were standout like exceeded my expectations. And it's set up like, like a legitimate like kind of villain now, which we haven't had this season or like really in a while outside of like all the just interpersonal drama we've been exploring. And I think that's a pretty nice new angle to get into for the show. So I'm really hyped for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, definitely. Going to be an exciting last 3 episodes here. Yeah, incredible episode.
Oh God, that's so soon.
What? Only,
I know.
To be fair, it's been I've been doing 2 podcasts a week on this for 7 weeks. I'm feeling it at this point. But yeah, it's no. Still, I would prefer if Rick and Morty is just airing every week forever. Like that would be much better. But yeah, it is an incredible episode. One of the just so many, just the fact that it's one of the most engaging and funniest episodes of the show is like a remarkable feat, and gonna be rewatching this one for a while. Really in love with it. Do you have a favorite? Are you prepared to name a favorite Rick and Morty?
Yes.
Okay, Delaney, who's your favorite Rick?
Oh, I wasn't ready for Rick.
Oh my God, there's only one of. Okay, who's your favorite Morty? There's only 2 options here, Rick or Morty. I said okay. Who's your favorite Morty?
My favorite Morty is Slick Morty.
Okay, that did seem like what you said earlier. Michelle, who's your favorite Morty?
I like Cop Morty the best.
Okay.
Because he's just so jaded and like such a different kind of Morty than we've seen.
Yeah. I'll go. I don't know. I'm torn between like Big Morty, Cowboy Morty, and Glasses Morty.
No, Cowboy Morty's also great.
Yeah.
Like,
he's pretty 2. Great for the limited.
Also,
hours.
obviously, Evil Morty's the best. But yeah, Delaney, favorite Rick.
This one's really hard. It's probably like between like Simple Rick and like
hard not to say Simple Rick.
And like I don't know, Farmer Rick was pretty good too.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the Farmer Rick. He said, he said, I don't wear this Dagnab hat and commit to this rural character. So
yeah, that was so stupid. It's so great.
Yeah,
my mega fruit. Get away from my mega fruit. It was just so
yeah, by the way, that fruit
great.
is from the pilot, the first episode of the show. We brought it back, yeah.
Oh, and Garment District Rick, because he's gay.
He talks for 5 seconds. Delaney,
he's gay, obviously.
Delaney knows. Okay. Who's your favorite Rick, Michelle?
I really like the Willy Wonka Rick. I don't even know why.
Yeah.
He's just like
Rick D. Sanchez III. He's very memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Slow Rick / Tall Morty.
Tall Morty. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
I'd like to say that the Mortys were more interesting than the Ricks.
There were a lot more Ricks, but they're more.
They're more.
There's like double the amount of Ricks. Or also the newscaster Ricks were incredible.
Those were
Juggling Rick. You had Rent is Too Damn High Rick. I also like Druggy Rick, who the experimental portal gun.
And then
that was intense.
Yeah. So Supervisor Rick was also quality. He's like, I'm out of here. Yeah. So all of that was great. So, I will, if you liked our discussion about favorite Rick and Morty, I'll be asking these same questions to our panelists on this week's panel. Outline's already done. Those are 2 of the questions, and we'll be having that. That'll be up later in the week, Wednesday night. So check that out. Make sure you subscribe to us so you don't miss it. And all of our Rick and Morty podcasts, search for Overly Animated Rick and Morty podcasts. And you can subscribe to our Rick and Morty specific feed, our iTunes feed. Please leave a comment wherever you're watching this. We have a website overlyanimated.com where you can leave comments for this, or on YouTube or wherever else. And we'd really appreciate iTunes reviews. Let us know how much you love this episode in iTunes reviews. I guess that's related to the quality of the podcast. But yeah, sure. Overlyanimated.com/iTunes, and that'd be great. So yeah, they're very excited to talk about this on the panel later in the week. Also, you can subscribe. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Katrin, aka Patron Katrin, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Andy. If you like Rick and Morty, there's a decent chance you would like BoJack Horseman, and we are going through every single episode one by one. So check out, if you just subscribe to our Rick and Morty iTunes feed, you can also check out our main feed or our BoJack specific iTunes feed. Just search Overly Animated BoJack Horseman. Season 4 of BoJack came out recently, so we are going through every episode of that, and BoJack's also being very good. Not too long until we can answer which was better this year, Rick and Morty or BoJack. It's going to be close, I think. Having seen all,
have you seen all BoJack now?
I just got up on BoJack. Yeah,
Okay.
The second to last episode of BoJack is.
Don't say anything. I'm on episode 10.
I'm not gonna. I just say it's a contender with this episode for best of the year. So it's gonna.
Oh damn!
I need to get caught up.
I'm hyped. Yeah, get caught up, Delaney.
Yeah, you like BoJack, So check all of that out. Overlyanimated.com. Thank you guys very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Mermaid puss.
Mermaid
Yeah.
Hashtag puss.
Whoa, that's a different hashtag.
you
It's a
say?
different hashtag, Michelle.